In the previous class, we discussed about bond valuation. Today, we are going to start the last chapter, and chapter name is Capital Venture or Venture Capital. First of all, what is venture capital or venture capitalist? In order to understand the concept of venture capital, let's take an example of a young and talented student who had a great idea for computer software. For understanding this thing, consider a student who has a good idea of developing a computer software. He worked for days and nights in order to develop that software. He can only make prototype, that is model, and requires a lot of resources for further development. If he will work on this software, so he can develop a model, that is a prototype. Because he don't have much more resources. So first he will develop a prototype and will test it. But unfortunately, he and his other friends do not have sufficient resources. But for further development, he don't have money. Because making a model, it is on small scale, so okay, you can arrange money for that. But for further development, people, they don't have money. So this student, he also don't have money for further development. He contacts his friend, but his friends, they also don't have sufficient resources. So the first thinking of the people, if they don't have money, is to contact the bank. Their first thinking will be to approach for the bank loan. They will contact a bank for a bank loan. But banks never gives loan in such a way. Bank demands guarantees. And if you are taking money for a venture which is very risky, so bank will not give you the loan, because in banks there is a principle that is called safety principle. According to this principle, banks will lend money to those people who will not invest this money in risky projects. If you people remind, we discussed about asymmetric information, adverse selection, and moral hazard. So the same case applied here, that banks will give loans to those people in whose hands the money is safe, because in banks there is money of public, and their first principle is the safety of this money. So they will not lend money to this student, or they will demand what? Guarantee. Guarantee mortgage, you can say, documents of land and building, but they don't have. But this person or his friends, they don't have some building or whatever that is. So the last option they left for these people is venture capitalist or venture capital firms. So their last option, it will be venture capital firms. Now what is venture capital? Venture capital firms specialized in pooling funds from various sources and invest them in innovative and risky projects. Basically, their business is to invest the money they collected from different sources in risky and innovative projects. In these risky projects, risk is very high, but the return is also high. So this is basically their business, to collect money from different sources and invest it in innovative and risky projects. So if this student will contact these venture capital firms, so they can give money to these students. Venture capital firms and venture capitalists recognize that many or even most of the ventures will not fly, but some of them will. They know, these venture capitalists, that we are investing money in risky projects. Out of these projects, suppose there are 10 projects. Majority of these projects will fail, but only some of them will be successful. So if majority will fail, so they will lose a huge sum of money. Suppose there are 10 projects. Okay, 5 projects. So out of 5, maybe majority of these projects will fail. But there is chance that one project will be successful because these are innovative projects. And majority of these innovative projects, these are research and development projects. So majority of them, it will fail. But if one of them is successful, it can recover the losses in these 4 projects. I'm telling you, the risk is high, the risk of failure is high. But if one project clicks, it can return the losses they made in these 4 projects. So it's telling you that venture capital firms and venture capitalists recognize that many or even most of the ventures will not fly, will not be successful, but some of them will. Risk in these types of ventures is very high, but at the same time, returns are enormous, that is massive. But the risk is high, the chance of failure is high. But if the project in the future will be successful, it will give them a huge amount of return. Now, in order to avoid risk, venture capital firms adopt a technique because they know that majority of the projects, they will fail. And these are not their own ideas. These are basically the ideas of the public. They invest in different stages. So they are making a policy that there will be different stages. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. First, they will give you money for the first stage. If that stage is successful, then they will give you money for the second stage. If that stage is successful, they will give you money for the third stage. If that stage is successful, then they will give you money for the fourth stage. It's not like that suppose if a project needs $20 million, so they will give you the whole money. No, not like this. Initially they will give you 5 million. If the first stage is successful, then they will give you another 5 million, then another 5 million, then another 5 million. If the project fails in the first phase, so the remaining $15 million, it will be saved. So that is a policy, that they are giving you money for different phases. They invest in different stages, like first stage, prototypes and manufacturing. Prototype development and prototype manufacturing. Then second stage might be investment for manufacturing. Then if the prototype is successful, they will give you money for investment. And then marketing and distribution. Then they will give you money for the marketing and distribution. So in this way, they are trying to reduce their risk. Venture capitals often specialized in different stages. Seed money or ground floor, then mezzanine level financing, that is just above seed level, just like I told you. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is ground floor. Then this is above ground floor. Then this is complete manufacturing. Then this is what? Marketing and distribution. So in this way, they're giving you money. Sometimes capital ventures actively participate in business talks directly due to inexperience of founders. Mostly the founders, the idea developers, those people who are giving ideas, they are inexperienced. So that's why these venture capital, they are working as a team with this founder of the idea. They are actively participating with him in the business because of the inexperience. Choosing a venture capital. So those people who have entrepreneurship skills and have experience, they look beyond the money in the selection of venture capitalists. Suppose you have a good idea, and for that idea now you need money. So you want to contact a venture capital firm. So on which basis you will select venture capital firms? Suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is you. And you want to select a venture capital firms out of these. So you will select which one? So here are some, you can say, features on the basis of which you can select venture capital firms. The first thing, financial strength. The most important one is the financial strength. You will select that venture capital which is financially strong. Don't select a venture capital firm which is financially weak. Why? They will give you money for the first stage, okay, for the second stage, then maybe for the third stage they are unable to give you money. So that is why we will select a firm which is financially strong, who can finance you for the whole project, not for 1 or 2 stages. The venture capital must have resources and finance for further stages, just like I told you. But it is not necessary that biggest is the best. Don't think that only financial strength is important. There are some other factors also on the base of which we will select the venture capital firms. So there are also other considerations, not only financial strength. Except financial strength, there are other factors for the selection of venture capital firm. Style is important, the second factor. Sometimes venture capital firms wish to have control over the business and wants to involve themselves in day-to-day operations and decisions making. There are some venture capital firms, they want to actively participate in the decision making and in the business. They want to actively participate. They are not like this that they will give you money and just they will give you money and will not participate in the decision making and in the affairs of the business. They will actively participate. This thing depend on firm and their know-how related to business and venture capitalists. If these venture capitalists, they have idea and experience about the business, suppose software development. So these venture capital firms, they also have experience in software development projects previously. So if they have experience, they will actively participate in the decision making and in the affairs of the business. Larger firms are less flexible and more bureaucratic as compared to small firms. If a firm is strong financially and large, so they will be bureaucratic, means they will force you to do this thing, that they will actively participate in the affairs of the business. Small firms, they are not, mostly they are not actively participating. But big firms, if they are giving you money, so they will actively participate because you are using their money. And if the project fails, then this will be their loss. So that's why they are actively participating. Now it depends on you. If you want their help, select a venture capital which actively participates in the affairs. And if you want to work independently, so then select a firm that will allow you to work independently. Reference are important. If we write it, references are important, then it will be better. Has the venture capital being successful with similar firms? When you are going to select a venture capital firm, so you will select that venture capital firm which previously have experience in such matters like software development. Suppose you are developing a software. So you will select a firm which previously have idea of software development. They already worked on projects of software development. So we call it reference. Don't select a firm which don't have idea about software development. This firm have idea of software development, so I am going to select this one. This is also financially strong and have experience of software development. How did venture capitalists dealt with the situation when it did not work out? They have previously experienced. So if the venture is not working, then how they dealt with the situation. So that is also important. Contacts are important. After the development of the product or the software, the next thing is to check out whether the venture capital firm can help the new entrepreneurs not only in via finance. Means that you will select such a venture capital firm which not only helps you in finance, they will also help you in other issues like introduction to major suppliers, customers. They will also find customers for you and other industry contacts, and they will also help you in further stages of the business. Just like we discussed, the first stage, the second stage, the third stage, the fourth stage. They are not only giving you money, they are also helping you in manufacturing. They are also helping you in distribution and marketing. They have good contacts, they will find customers for you, they have good industry relationships, so they can help you in the further stages of the business. Existing strategy is important. This is basically exiting. Exiting strategy is important. Venture capitals are generally not long-term investors. These are short-term ventures. You know about this thing. How and what conditions the venture capitalist will cash out. Now the next thing is that if the project is successful, so what will be their percentage? How and what conditions the venture capitalist will cash out. That is the most important. So we discussed about venture capital, that what is venture capital. These are firms who are investing in risky projects. If you have idea but you don't have money, so what are venture capitalists doing? They are giving you money for these innovative ideas. They know that majority of the projects fails, but if one of them clicks, it will give them a huge amount of return. Mostly venture capital firms, they are investing money in stages, in different stages, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 5. So initially they will give you money for the first stage. If the stage is successful, they will give you money for the next stage, and then so on. But if the project fails in some stage, then the next stage's money, it will be secured. Then when you want to select a venture capital firms, so on the basis of which features you will select a venture capital firm. The first thing is financial strength, that you will check the financial strength of the venture capital. You will check their style. Their style is bureaucratic, or they will allow you to work independently. Then the next thing is references are important. That is the project on which you are working, that venture capital have previous experience of that type of projects. Contacts are important, that those venture capitals, you will select that venture capital which have other contacts, like they can help you in finding customers, they can help you in the advertisement, they can help you in the distribution and these things. And the next thing is exiting strategy is important. Venture capitals are small, so when they are going to finish the venture, so what will be their terms and conditions, because they help you in in development of that product or whatever that is. So when the project ends, so what will be their strategy, how that venture capital will generate the cash. They will tell you that what will be the strategy when the venture ends, what will be the exiting strategy. So that is the end of this chapter and the course. So inshallah, in the class, when you people will come, if you people have some problem, so then you can ask about that. Have a good time. Assalamu alaikum.